Welcome. Okay, ladies, what's up? It is Wednesday, April 1st, kind of crazy. But we've got a couple friends on from a couple different teams. Happy to see so many faces on here tonight. We have an amazing guest speaker, but before we get to Liv, I'm going to share my slides. All right. Okay, you guys can see that? Okay, cool. All right. So Liv's going to be talking tonight on leveling up consistency and coaching through the chaos, which I am just like, I feel like every team call since everything that's been going on is just like, it feeds my soul. It's like exactly what I need. So I'm just so excited for this call tonight. Some news and updates. So 10 rounds is available right now to coaches. We've been talking about this a lot. So if anybody gets started, you have to enroll them as a coach. It will be available to clients, and even like your existing clients can then buy like their add-on starting on April 6th. I've been putting it in my newsletters. I hope that you've been chatting about it. I know we've been kind of sprinkling it into our bootcamp a little bit. All the events are canceled. No surprise to anything. But remember, this business isn't. Our relationships are not canceled. Lean in during this time. If you missed the Run Wild Hustle Shine call last night, watch it. Danielle just brought a whole other level last night that like we all freaking needed. I know personally, our governor is set to speak tomorrow morning at 10:30. And I'm like 99% sure she's closing down schools for the rest of the year. So this week, it's just been a lot. And so I think last night was a really good reminder that we're all in this together. Like we're all going through stuff, but are you going to choose to lean into the hard and, kind of let it create excuses and let you kind of fall into this trap? Or are you going to lean in and find the good and, make something out of this time that maybe was unexpected? And for me, I keep saying this, I wanted to go full-time coaching in the fall, kind of full-time coaching right now. It's not how I thought. It's not how I expected this to go. It's taking me a little while to wrap my brain around it, but I'm here for it. Like it's time to level the F up and do the dang thing. This week we started pop-up Zooms. This is going to become more of a regular thing as you see leaders doing this. So we, as you know, have this leadership pod. And what we decided is a couple of us are just going to take a couple days a week and just do working sessions together. We're trying to give you maybe some morning, afternoon, some evening times, just so that you have an opportunity for that accountability piece for work. April 21st, the prep and 6 weeks of the work will be on BOD for everybody. So you can kind of stop getting them enrolled with those challenge packs unless they specifically want that. Same thing with BAR. BAR will be released. I'm still getting people enrolled with the BAR packages just because they're $20 off right now. A lot of people are loving the positive affirmation cards, even if they're not doing BAR at the moment. A lot of people, whenever I post them, they're like, oh my God, what are these cards? So a lot of people want them. And you can always do them as an add-on, just so you guys know. And then virtual super weekend. I'll touch more on this in like next week, but it's on April 18th because I don't want to take up too much time talking about super weekend. All right. I believe these are our final numbers from my coach back office for March. So it's April 1st. So everybody's at a clean slate. Everybody's at 0 unless you're moving and shaking. Then maybe you're at 2 today. But this is how we ended March. I'm really, really proud. We've got a lot of names up there, and I'm really proud to see so many people, again, leaning into this business and, not letting it be an excuse for what we're going through right now. I see a lot of newer coaches leveling up on here, like newer coaches from January, February. And it's so exciting because whenever we get, fresh team members that just take this and run, it like kind of creates that like sense of urgency for the rest of us. So like, oh my gosh, they're running with it. Like Katie leading the board at 24. I am at 13. Kaylin and Sam both hit Success Club this month. All newer coaches, you guys. This is incredible. We've got to cheer them on and support them and use it to let yourself level up. We've got Mickey, Sam W, and Brittany all coming in at 4, Lexi, Kelly, and Jordan at 2, and Brooke C coming in at 1 with a total of 33 lives changed this past month. So incredibly proud because all of these numbers are directly tied to a life change, which is why we do what we do. And just a side note, me, Jordan, and Brittany were in a chat pod together because we run the boot camp together. And we were kind of talking today about like how many people we've gotten enrolled with either like a 3-month membership, the $99 membership, the 2-week trial. And it's frustrating because it's not getting us Success Club points. Sometimes it's not even getting us commission if it's a free 2-week trial. But right now, stay focused that our job is to serve others. Our job is to help others. Yes, there's that Success Club tied to it, but more importantly, our job is to serve people right now. And it's very, very powerful. So just take a breath. Know that there are other options to serve people. If you need to talk them through with me, I'm here to help. Okay, that being said, time for our guest speaker. So we've got Livv Schaeffer with like a Livv with a double V on Instagram if you go over and peep her stuff. So we met in LA at New Leader Conference, and her teammate, they kept bumping into us like the whole time, me and Megan, like elevators, working out, and her and Megan like instantly bonded because they're cat moms, they're plant moms, like they were just like jiving, and it was so fun. And so we obviously all stayed connected and followed each other on Instagram. So I got to speak on Liv's team call a couple of weeks ago. So now she's returning the favor. She's a 1-star diamond. She hit Success Club All-Star as of today. So that means 12 months consecutively in Success Club, which is absolutely badass. So incredible. She's also a designer and a bar instructor. And I cannot wait to hear from you. So I'm going to get out of your way and I'm going to mute myself.
Okay, thanks, Janine. Janine rocked my team call. She had slides and everything. I'm not really a slides person, so just bear with me. I'm super pumped to be talking to you guys. My name is Olivia, like Janine said. I am from Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada. Regina, that is a real place. We get made fun of all the time for it. You can look it up. It's very cold here, very small. And yeah, I am a now, I guess, full-time coach. I was laid off with my other 2 jobs, but in normal life, I work for an interior design firm, and then I teach bar at a local studio. So obviously Bar Blend was right up my alley. I was so pumped for it. I'm going to talk to you guys about leveling up and consistency, and then going through this chaotic season. I want to say that Janine touched on NLC, and if NLC is not on your vision board, please, please, please put it on there. I, for a long time, made it this like big overarching goal, and I was like, I'll never be able to hit that. It's so hard, and it's not. I wanted to go so badly. I was like, I'm going no matter what. I'm going to make it happen. And I actually got my spouse to Diamond in order to get there. And I kind of felt like a phony for a little bit, I won't lie. And then I was like, no, I put in the work, I got there, and it was a life-changing event. I lost my passport like a couple days before NLC, so it really just made it for an extra special event. I got there, it was amazing. So please put it on your goal board and push for it. I know you guys are all capable human beings that can make it happen. So talking about leveling up and consistency, this is a really big season of unknown, and I had to have a really hard like gut check with myself the other day, because obviously all of us have had our worlds flipped upside down. And I was like, all right, well, I have to make this new normal, and I don't know what I'm going to do. And there's so much, it's so easy to get caught up in the worry and the fear, obviously. And like, I'm not telling you you can't. Take that time, take that season. If it's a couple hours, if it's a couple days, you're allowed to be fearful and scared and a little bit unsure. Nobody has ever gone through this before. And that's kind of the hardest thing, is that when somebody gets married, or somebody goes through a pregnancy, or a life-changing event, usually there's somebody that's gone through it before us, so we can be like, hey, how did this work? We're all in this together. We're facing the unknown, but we're here together. And so going through this, you're allowed to grieve. Like I said, you're allowed to be in a season of chaos for a bit, but just don't unpack your bags and live there. We have something so life-changing at literally the tip of our fingers. And if you're kind of caught up in that unsurety, I want you to think about how Beachbody and these programs and this community has changed your life. Because we all bleed Beachbody Blue. We're all like, oh my gosh, this has changed everything for us. And so if you're struggling with that belief or that uncertainty, come back to this. I, like Janine, have put full-time coaching on my goal board for so long. And now here we are living this dream. I'm not sure that it's a dream yet. It was a very harsh transition, but I had a really big like self-love, or like realistic talk with myself the other day, and I was like, all right, this isn't as glamorous as you wanted. I wasn't quote unquote ready for the full-time coach life because I'm a Enneagram 1, I'm a planner. I'm like, I wanted to have this much saved up so I could have this much of my bills paid and like all this stuff ahead. And now I'm like, here I am, I don't know what's going on, but I'm going to try and just work through this. And so full-time coaching is now many of our gigs. And if you're there, I feel you. It's going to take you a little bit of time to find a new routine that works. But here's my thing is I read this quote the other day, and it just like all the feels and kind of where this big self chit chat started was the biggest loss is if we come out on the other side of this unchanged. And that like boom hit me in the heart because we don't know how long this time is going to be. If it was like a weekend and we spent the weekend binging Netflix, like, oh, whatever, it is what it is. But this could be literally months. And like, I'm not saying this to scare you guys, because I'm also scared a little bit, but like this could literally be months of this. We have no idea how long the season's going to last. But when it's over, I don't want to have looked back on this time of 2 weeks. It's going to be more than 2 weeks, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, and be like, wow, I really wish that I would have done more when I had the time. Because time is, I feel like, everybody's reason as to why we don't get where we want to go or why we don't get done what we want to do in a day is because of time, right? We've all got jobs, and I have 2 jobs on top of coaching, and like lots of you guys do, and kids and life and commitments and all these things that happen. And then sometimes you're like, oh, well, I didn't do the thing because of, it's never money holding us back, right? This business costs $19 to run, and your Schaeffer is a business write-off. So like, this is literally, money's not holding us back from success, it's time. And so now we have all this time. This is exactly what we've all kind of quote unquote asked for, right? Is we've asked for more time, and the universe is like, all right, you want more time? You want to be a full-time coach? Here you go. I know you weren't ready, but you can make the best of this, or you can just continue to go down the path that most people are going down right now, is living in fear and behind excuses. And the thing with that path is people will understand, like, oh, I understand why you quit coaching. It was like that pandemic. I get it. I don't want to be on that path because I've made so much progress, as have we all, into this business. And now is the time to lean in to everything we have to offer. And so we are all choosing to take that path of, okay, this is scary, we're not sure, but we're going to deal with it, and we're going to make the best of it, and we're going to live that full-time coach life that we kind of all want to live secretly deep down, right? Having no alarm clock has been really nice, I won't lie. So I had this hard talk with myself this weekend, and I was like, all right, you're here right now, wherever you are, whether you're a 5-star, 1-star, diamond, emerald, you are where you are. You want to be up here, right? At the end of this pandemic, what is your goal? I know we don't know how long it's going to last, but like, I really, really, with everything in my body, do not want to go back to my job. I love design so much, but I don't want to go back. That's my goal. And you have to figure out what your goal is for the next 3 months, 2 or 3 months, I guess. What is your goal? Okay, so I'm down here. My goal is now up here. What is in the middle? What are those missing links? It's the work that we're not, or we are, putting in. The only thing that's separating us from here and there is the work. And there are so many people. This call was by Emily Faber, and obviously, if you know her, her business just exploded. She went from like diamond to 15-star in a year. And you're like, oh my gosh, well, yeah, but she was probably a special case, and like she probably had somebody on her side. It's like, no, she is social proof as to why you can make that happen too. And I'm not saying you have to go 15-star diamond, and I'm not saying you have to hit all these accolades, but it's like the idea of being where you are now to being where you want to be is that work I wasn't putting in. And I was like, well, I am putting in the work. I'm doing a power hour a day. And I was like, Liv, you have no job right now. Coaching is your only commitment. And my spouse is gone working. And so he, like, I literally have nothing to do but coach in my house and play with my cat and water my plants. And so I was like, all right, 1 power hour a day isn't going to do it because I haven't earned that right. I haven't earned the right to only do 1 power hour a day. Emily Faber has earned that right because she got there and she did the work initially, right? I haven't got there yet. One day, in a year from now or 6 months from now, however long it takes, if I only want to work 1 hour a day, well, guess what? I've earned that right. But until then, I need to put in the work because everybody who is where you want to be in this business they don't have secrets. That's what I was kind of hoping at NLC. I was like, oh, I'm gonna go get this big secret and like everything's gonna change. And it was like, no, literally everybody there was like, okay, you know what you need to do now, just 10 times that. Just do more of what you're already doing and you'll get to your goals. There is literally, the secret is there is no secret. Joke's on us, I guess. So the only thing that's standing in your way of your goals is you. And that is the best part about this business for me. I grew up on a farm, and so like there was no shortage of work. And so I know how to work hard, and I will outwork anybody in this room, or so I was telling myself last week. But I was like, Liv, I don't think 1 power hour a day is outworking anybody in this room. And so this week I've set a schedule for myself. And like I said, it'll take you some time in this season to find a new schedule, and that's okay. But I had to get really honest. I was like, all right, yeah, 1 power hour is not going to do. So I'm like, you want to be a full-time coach, you want a business, you need to treat it like a business. So now I'm getting up 8 o'clock, logging on. I've got house party now. If you don't have house party, get it. It's like you can hop in and out of power hours. It's so fun. 8 till like 11, I'm working. I'm going to work out around 11ish as like a midday break, and then going back to my computer like 1ish to 5ish, depending on obviously how things go. But that is my new routine, and I'm holding myself there to that and hoping that that kind of work gets me to my goals. And so why I'm kind of telling you my gut check is give yourself that gut check. And when you give yourself the gut check, I don't want you to give yourself the gut check of like, okay, well, I'm here. I want you to go in and look at where you are. Look at your downline, even if it's scary. I am not a 1-star coach right now. And a couple weeks ago, a month ago, I was like a struggling diamond. And it sucked. I hated admitting that. But that's where I was, and that's where we all are, and that's the reality of things. And so I got there, all right, this is where I am. Looking at my income, all right, this is where I am. These are the actual numbers. And I know it's not all about the income, but in this season of my life, I do need to pay my mortgage, right? So, all right, this is where I am income-wise, and it is not at all where I want to be, but I know where I'm starting. You can't take the next step and hit those next goals if you don't even know where you're starting, right? So get honest with yourself. There's no shame in where you are. You've made it this far. Get honest with yourself, evaluate, and then you can kind of make that shift. Sorry, I'm just looking at my notes. Right now, too, I heard this last night and I was like, yes. Right now in the season of chaos, we are setting the example for the type of people we want to attract. And so right now I'm like, all right, I don't know what I'm doing. I never really know what I'm doing, but I'm just going to like, let's go hammer down. I'm going to try and find a routine, and I'm going to adjust to where I need to. And I'm just going to show up, because that is the only constant in my life right now is my business and my workouts. I don't even have Blake here right now. He's gone too. So it's like, those are the only constants. And if right now, if you are wishy-washy, if you're struggling with your own kind of fears and doubts, if you're in and out of social media, if you're not really posting, if you're not really in your groups, that is setting the example for the kind of people that you're attracting. You're showing your people that it's okay to only show up part-time, and like, don't worry about checking into the group. And like, if you don't do your coach work for 5 days, it's fine. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want those people on my team. I'm sure they're incredible people, but we all want to attract those leaders. We all want to attract those like dream coaches. So if you're not even acting like the dream coach right now, it's going to be really hard to attract that person to your team, right? We are what we put out there, and what you believe is what will come. And so really thinking about that, like, what kind of example am I setting for the people in my life? And like I said, if you haven't worked through the fear and kind of the feelings on your chest right now, it's okay. Take some time. We all deserve that time. You deserve that time for yourself. But a couple days now of gathering your thoughts of what's going on, and then realigning and getting to work is going to put you months ahead. Like we said, we don't know how long this is going to last. So in a couple months, I don't want you to look back and be like, oh, yikes, really should have did that work and kind of put it in. And now I'm back to real life and I've got these things going on, and well, there was my time, right? Like I said, grieve, I call it grieve. I'm grieving the memories I'm not going to make in Punta Cana and at Summit. Grieve, but just don't unpack your stuff and live there. And then going back to belief, I've had some comments right now from my team and just other coaches in the network that like, it's really hard right now because I'm not sure of this season. There's so much unknown, and I don't know if people are going to want to invest, and like, I don't want to approach them because I don't want them to feel pressured. Again, this comes back to belief, and this is all on you. If you're having trouble believing in what we have to offer right now, I need you to go back and look at your transformation, look at where you were before you started this all. I could not imagine right now. I would have binge ate myself into depression and anxiety like 10 times over already had I not had this community, these programs, personal development. So go back and look at where you started. And if you need other coaches, I'm sure you guys have an incredible group of coaches that you can look back at where they were and where they are now, and give yourself that like gut check of, I would have eaten so much ice cream. Honestly, I'm a binge eater through and through. Go back and look at where you were and then be like, all right, yeah, what I have to offer right now is literally what everybody needs. A community, people to feel supported by, an outlet of fitness to kind of release the anxiety and the stress, personal development, like more than ever now, I am like podcast book, like all day, every day. That's what I need. And that's what so many people in our lives need right now. And so harvest that belief, go back to those, like why you started and why you started as a coach, and then share. And you know what? Right now is not going to be the time for everybody. Just like 2 months ago when this wasn't happening, wasn't the time for everybody, right? Everybody's got their day and everybody comes around. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. And so leaning into what we have, inviting the crap out of your social media because people need this, but then realizing that's okay if it's not for everybody right now, but leaving people more resourceful than you found them, because people will not remember what you said or what you did, but they're going to remember how you made them feel. And if not signing up with the challenge pack, Janine touched on this about the 3-month BODs and the $99 BOD. If not signing up with the challenge pack means they can't be in your circle or part of your club, they're going to remember that, right? We all have that. We're wired for connection. And we know what it feels like to be excluded, and we hate that feeling. And so if right now is not the time for them, that's okay. Guess what? We have 16 or 17 free workouts now that you can send them a link to. They can sign up for a free, like they don't even have to input their credit card for those first 14 or 16 workouts, which is amazing. People love that. They can sign up for the free BOD trial. They can do 3 months of BOD. You have resources. You have personal development resources and podcasts that have changed your life. And so if they've changed your life, they're going to be really relevant to the people on your social media because you're attracting some version of you, right? There are recipes and meal plans. And if you need a meal plan, I will literally send you one. Like that is how resourceful I want you to be, because people are going to remember that. Hey, Janine sent me that free workout and it made me feel so good. And I know now's not the time, but guess what? 3 months from now, when this is all over and her finances are in order and she's feeling ready, who's she going to go back to? The person that excluded her because she didn't give them the challenge pack, or the person who gave them what she had and kind of met her where she was at, right? We all want to feel included and belonged, and that's just a good way to build those relationships, build those connections, because like Jeannie mentioned, it's about the people, right? We get caught up in the numbers and the Success Club points and the elite points, and we want to be here, we want to be there, but like just remember that these are people's lives. And this can be a touchy subject for people. The idea of like fitness and bettering themselves and starting on this journey can be touchy. So be gentle with them and just kind of see how you can serve them where they're at. Yeah, people will never forget how you made them feel. So kind of recapping what I said here, and then I'll see if anybody has any questions, if that's okay. Doing that self gut check audit and getting really honest with yourself is like step number 1 after this, because we are our own biggest roadblocks, our own worst enemies. And like, we love sugarcoating, like, I'm a 1-star diamond coach. Like, girl, you are a solid emerald, and that's okay. Own it, own where you're at, but then you know where you are and the steps you can take to where you want to be. And guess what? Everybody before you in this business has accomplished those things. So you will too, if you take that audit and then you get ready to put in the work. The universe is testing us, remembering that. And if full-time coaching was your goal eventually, you're living the dream right now. You are living out your own dreams. So how are you going to spend this time? It's not going to be perfect. Not every day is going to be smooth and beautiful and filter worthy, but own it or be owned. That's literally my favorite podcast ever from The Woman Wanting More. If you need a podcast, go check her out. She throws a couple F-bombs in there, but she's really good. Setting the example for the kind of people you want to attract to your business right now. Are you showing up? Because then you're going to attract people who are also going to show up through tough times. Or are you kind of falling to the wayside and then in turn going to attract those people who are like wishy-washy in and out? Be who you want to attract. And then leaning back into your belief, why you started, why you love this business so much and what it has to offer. And then just being that, like that giving tree, like just giving everything you can. Obviously, this is still a business and we need to, I'm always going to lead with that challenge pack because it's the best value for them. But if that's not where they're at right now, that's okay. Their time will come. Literally, everybody comes back around. There is like supreme faith in that line there. Everybody comes back around. And then leaving people always more resourceful than you found them. This is a crazy, crazy time. And one day we're going to look back on this and be like, hey, I really spent that time when I was literally housebound so well, and it pushed me so far in my business, and I'm helping to achieve my goals. And I'm going to come out on the other side so much stronger than we went into this, because we have made it through every single hard time we've ever been through. And we're all going to make it through this time, as scary as it might be. We're going to get there. We're going to get through the other side. We're going to do it together. That's the best part of this. We have each other. So yeah, I think that's all I have.
Oh my God, that was so good. Thank you so much. That was just, like I said, I knew it was just going to feed my soul tonight, just like I needed. I took down a lot of notes. But that podcast was called Own It or Be Owned.
Yeah, it's an episode. It's like a super early episode. It's called Women Wanting More is the actual podcast. You'll have to scroll back to like 2015. That's one of her first episodes. I listened to it as a new coach. I've been coaching for 4 years. Yikes. And that was one of the very first episodes I listened to, and I listened to it again the other day for like the 15th time. It just so like hits home.
Oh, I love it. I'm going to go search that out. I first want to say, I don't think you're a fake or a phony for getting your spouse to Diamond to go to NLC. I think that you're a business owner, and that was smart. I mean, that's how I hit Premier. One of my girls went Diamond. I made my husband go Diamond. Boom, 2-star. We had all of our points. And so, you know, you got to do what you got to do for this business. And that's why signing up your spouse is somebody is a very, very smart move. But any questions, you guys drop them in the chat. What other podcasts or personal development books are you listening to or doing right now?
Let me open my podcast app here. A good resource, I'm not like a huge fan of it right now, but a good resource for other people, the Shalene Show. She's got like a whole series on dealing with coronavirus, finances, meditation, things like that, which I've found really good value in showing other people like, hey, you can deal with this here. They're good episodes, but I just find that they're not speaking to my soul, but they're speaking to other people's soul. On the Rise podcast by Rachel Hollis, Dave Hollis just did a chapter of his book he read. It was so good. The Empower Her podcast by Keisha Fitzgerald is good. They're like good little quick pep in your step kind of podcasts. In terms of, I've really been diving into like the Enneagram. If you guys aren't familiar with the Enneagram, just like typing yourself, and then it's like, oh my gosh, this is why I am the way that I am. And are good kind of self-discovery and like learning your strengths and weaknesses. I would say that's a good test to take if you have it.
Awesome. Amazing. Do you run your challenge groups on Facebook or Challenge Tracker app?
Both. I just started my 10 rounds group on the Challenge Tracker app because I knew it would switch over with quad groups. Hopefully, I'm excited for that. I've done Facebook. I'm doing Messenger right now for a lot of them. Just that idea of just like very informal. He says it's working, so I'm like, I'm gonna ride this wave while I can. Yeah, Messenger is seeming to work for now.
That's cool. Yeah, putting, a couple new people like in like a little pod, and just like we do for our coaches, and always for my girls on here, remember there's no like one way to do things. Like if you want to do something, give it a whirl, just try it out. It might work out really well, and then you can share it with the team. You guys have any other questions for Livv? Don't be shy. That was so good. You put it so eloquently, like how I've been feeling about like not being ready to go full time and having like emotions, but like kind of being full time. I mean, I still do have like teacher responsibilities, but it's like nothing. And you worded it really well. It's like, okay, well, I need to start showing up like a full-time coach. You have to show up, and we say this all the time. You need to show up as a coach that you would want to attract to your team.
Yes.
And if you're not, like, why the heck are you showing up? Like, reevaluate. Don't be afraid to do, that self gut check in the mirror. Don't be afraid to reach out to me. I had a couple texts this morning, like from a couple girls on my phone, like saying like, it's April 1, this is what I'm doing. It's like, good. Like, you guys are taking, that leadership, that ownership for your business. You're messaging me for that accountability. And it's just like amazing. So you guys know who you are. A couple of you guys are on this call right now. You guys messaged me this morning. That was awesome.
And even the idea of like, I have it written on a sticky note in our bathroom. And I was like questioning my leadership the other day and all that stuff, venting to Blake. And he's like, well, how would 15-star Olivia show up? And I was like, what? And he's like, well, you have that on the mirror in the bathroom. And I was like, oh man, you just schooled me with my own quote. But like asking yourself, like 15-star Olivia wouldn't be working 1 hour a day. And if she was, it was because she earned the right? 15-star Olivia would be hustling, especially with summit calls right around the corner. Sorry, my cat's ripping around.
Yeah.
With summit calls right around the corner, like it is April 1, you have 30 days. What are you going to accomplish in 30 days, right? You can make leaps and bounds, or you can kind of sit in that fear and then see everybody else moving forward and be like, oh, that's
Oh yeah, for sure. So we are like in week 3 of quarantine here. Week 1, I didn't know what to do with my life. I didn't know how to do a routine. I didn't know how to do anything. And like, I'm like finally like in like a good like groove, like finally like getting kind of like my feet under me. And it's okay to kind of like, I don't know, flubber. That's not the right word, like falter, falter, and like catch your footing and like say, okay, if this is how I want to and need to show up now for myself and my business and my life and my family and where I am, how are you going to choose to do that? You're going to sit and binge Netflix? And don't get me wrong, like I am still watching a lot of Netflix stuff with John. Like I still am. Like there's no shame. You got to unplug. You got to do that stuff too. But I know that when this is all said and done, I don't want my business to have been on pause this whole time. I don't want it to downslide. I want it to be moving forward. And that's how you guys need to think and frame your mind. And it doesn't really matter your goal, if it's rank or income or whatever your goal is, you want to be moving forward during this time. So.
And yeah, building that trust with people, because it's like people are watching you whether you know it or not. So it's like you are just like wishy-washy during this time, but the coach beside you is showing up like on fire, on point. It's like, and I don't mean to be rude, but it's like, who are they going to sign up with, right? The coach that's there on going to be checking in with them, or the girl that's like in and out.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, if no more questions, I'm going to stop the recording.